Released in 2018, Epic 7 is a game that boasts over 300 unique heroes, various game modes, and a large healthy community. But how is the experience for a new player in 2023? Can they get by without spending money? What can Smilegate improve on? And how much time does someone actually have to devote to this game to feel like they achieved a sense of accomplishment? Join me, Wild Neptune, on this journey as I take a brand new, free-to-play account from zero to Gacha Hero. In this series, get ready, because it's Epic 7 time. Hello and welcome to the 5th episode of this series. We are currently on the 11th day that they actually just started here, where going through this account and seeing how long it takes to do certain things in the game. Now, this particular episode took a bit longer to record than I wanted to, so there is a bit of a longer time gap between this one and the last one, so there was a lot of stuff being done. However, also a lot of farming was done in the background. And remember, background battling does not count against us because it is things we don't really have to be active doing. Of course, again, if I am doing things while I'm farming in the background, that does count for time. And believe me, every time I do anything almost, I will turn on that timer and we'll get to see the end result at the end of the episode here. But what have we done? Well, one of the most pertinent things we have done is we have completed Hunt for Wyvern 13. And we are not on an auto 13 yet, which means 13 an auto. We just did the manual one to get our hunt thing finished, get those bookmarks for the bonus. And the issue right now with our Hunt 13, and it was an issue that I foresaw might be a problem, that currently our Momo, who isn't geared right now because of right now I'm on farming gear, but if she was geared, she is not quite tanky enough to deal with the Wyvern's attacks. Now, there are a couple of things that we can do about this. The obvious one is to get better gear by farming Wyvern 11 or 12, and that is a reasonable thing to do. Another thing too is we might need to use health percentage boots instead, so take less turns, but maybe have more health so that we just don't get blown out sometimes. Another thing too, and this is a little bit harder to achieve, not harder, but it takes longer, is to go to your guild, and hopefully you are in a guild by now. In the member shop, there's this artifact here called Proof of Valor, and put it on your front line if it's not a tank for your Wyvern, and it will decrease the damage they take, and it works out pretty good. Also a pretty good PvP artifact. In fact, Proof of Valor symbol and Warhorn are all very strong PvP artifacts. So is Bastion of Hope, Guide Decision 2. In fact, most of these you'll probably buy. Maybe not this one. This one you would probably buy last. The only issue here is that 750 of these armbands for a veteran player who is just going through the game and do all the dailies in a good guild, it comes slowly, but it's bearable. As a new player, it definitely trickles in. Unless you get lucky or really search for a good guild as like a newbie, which is hard to get into, believe me, then you will be waiting a long time to get to this. In fact, you might not even reach like 2 of these until you actually get into like a halfway decent guild. So I would say for Smilegate, this is more for them than you guys watching it as a guide here, that something should be done to help new players at least get like a copy of these earlier on. We have also gone through some of episode 3, well, I say some, like the first few stages here, and some of the stages, like these boss stages, we might have the manual, but the trash stages I don't think would be that much of a trouble for us, especially with our base team. Now, another thing we've also been doing here is re-gearing some of our units to farm, and then we don't want to farm, we have to swap the gear back to do, say, like hunts and stuff like that, which does cost gold, unfortunately. So getting fodder for additional sets and additional characters just to have gear on is going to be a pretty big priority for us going forward. But Sigrid, big damage, everything like that. Of course, we have this hit set that has been completed. This does get us to our match's 65 effectiveness. We also have the Alexa here. She's currently not geared, but when she is, we definitely want to get the effectiveness up a little bit for her. The Spectre now, we did summon her, so she is ours. And just on this basic set, eventually we're going to swap one of these attack sets to a crit set. Well, like two attack pieces to a crit set. We have the Tamarin. We did buy this 88 boot and this 88 helmet in order to get a little more bulk for us. Eventually, this stuff will go, at least the helmet here, will go on the Momo when she is tanking, probably. We are also looking to build up our Mercedes for our final fire unit and put some of the other attacking gear onto her. Of course, we have the Furious. I did opt to 5-star him because eventually we will want to try to get this EE for him and need a 5-star awakening for the EE. And Iseria and Free Spirit here are still stuck at the 5 stars, and there's really no major need to get them up right away, or if at all. As far as gearing goes, we have bought 8 pieces of arena gear. So these 2 hit pieces we got in the other episode. We also bought 2 crit pieces. Now, unfortunately, this ring did not roll very well at all. It's really bad, actually. Like, even for arena gear, I would say this is, like, really bad. Hopefully yours rolls a little bit better. We have these boots, too, and these boots have actually rolled just as bad, honestly. A little bit better, right? These boots are actually pretty good. So, remember, the later arena gear definitely rolls better than the older ones, but it does cost more. So you can see the difference here in 79 compared to 90. This is, of course, a lot better. We also bought, though, this ring, which we just needed to reach that effectiveness benchmark for the Wyvern for Furious. We also did this health necklace, which even though I don't expect this to be amazing, I do expect it to serve our purpose for a little bit. And in fact, we are going to give it a roll right here and see how it goes. Honestly, everything here besides the crit chance is okay. I say that and instantly crit chance. That's just the way it goes. You say one thing, you say you don't want something to happen, and of course, it is going to happen. Now, unfortunately here, these rolls haven't been that good, and there's more crit chance, obviously. But we just really want this for the health more than anything. Now, it does suck that it doesn't have any defense on it, but definitely going to be for one of our tanks or one of our soldiers going forward here. Now, you also notice too that I do have a lot of other gear just kind of locked around, and this is because in an event, which I will go to right here, so right after you do your for new air, the first one, you actually get a second one. See how there's a 2 here? Well, after you collect everything from number 1, you get the second one here, which I actually forgot you got. And you have missions here, like just gain AP. One of them is to buy Epic Catalyst and get these bonus chests here. And another one is going to be World Fragments, these charms, and stuff like that. One of the rewards you get from one of the things, I don't remember where it is exactly, because I'm pretty sure I just took them. It might have been in the Hunt Challenge or something, but somewhere in your event tab, you will get a chest, which I already used, and the chest will allow you to get, I believe it's 7,000 hunt crafting materials, and you might be tempted to save them, and if you want to do that, that's fine. But I highly recommend you just blow them all on Wyvern mats and use them right away, as it'll let you have a better idea on what pieces of gear you want to raise and don't want to raise, and be a little more efficient with your resources early on, as that is going to be very important. So that's why I have just all of this random gear that I'm waiting to upgrade and maybe find some charms to get into. Like this piece here. This was a random piece that I got from, just crafting. And this is pretty good. right? I can't reforge it yet because I'm not rank 55. But eventually, this would be a piece that I would not be unhappy with. This weapon too, the rolls are kind of low, but for a newer account, it might be okay. This one also, maybe not the best right now. However, it does have a couple of speed rolls at +9. So when I get some maybe more helmet charms, in fact, we go to 12 right now and see if it hits speed right here. And it did not hit health, but 5% health. You know what? This could be okay on like a debuffer / tank in the early game. Not too upset about that actually. So another thing too, I highly recommend you do is if you have any of these blue boxes here, that you use a couple of them at least, try to get some speed main speed boots. Speed boots with a speed main. And this is because speed main boots are going to be among the more helpful boots for you, or pieces for you overall, especially in the early game. Now, eventually, you'll just kind of have these and it'll be whatever, and you'll just craft whatever you need. But I do highly recommend these are the ones that you try to pick up first. And of course, you can use the conversions on anything else you have, just in case you got one, say, randomly from like a world boss drop or something like that. And now for the random heals we did get a random Chloe and a Kisei too. So those were things that happened. Also, before we get to, I should have talked about this a little bit earlier, but some other things we can do about the Momo not being able to take Wyvern. So once you reach, I forget when, but you'll have this for a while now. There's Grace of Growth. At this point, you should have the max 1 unlocked. So I believe getting the max 1 unlocked, you need 3 heroes at 6 stars or level 60, and one of them has to be at max Molid, I believe. I can't actually see the requirements anymore because I completed them, but at this point, you should be able to unlock the final stage. This gives you a +12 hero at level 60, no matter what level they are. The moles are always max in skills 2 and 3, and then whatever's left over goes into skill 1, which makes it really good for units that don't have to use the skill 1 a lot or don't really care about the skill 1. And this especially means a lot of tanks and a lot of soul weavers, especially for your PvE. If you cannot get your Momo to be tanky enough quickly, you can use this slot to slot in a knight. So a knight for Wyvern 13, the 2 ones that are going to be most used will be your Crozet right here. And Crozet is actually a hero you can get in your connections. And the other one, who I think is actually a better choice overall, is going to be Rose. Unfortunately, Rose is not a connection hero, and I don't have her, so you might have to deal with Crozet for at least a little bit. Keep in mind that there is a few day cooldown in order to use the Grace of Growth again after you take a hero out. You can use Sky Stones to reduce the time, but I would highly recommend against that. And let's reveal the timer for this session. Boom. As you see, it is 8 hours, 58 minutes, and 56.90 seconds. So almost 9 hours, so definitely a much longer session this time around. We did do a lot of stuff. And remember that a lot of this, more of this time, was spent just doing background battling off screen, so even more time technically was spent doing all of this. So if you're not at this point at this time in the your journey, that's okay. Remember that each person is going to go at their own paces here. If you're wondering if there's going to be a guide for the hunts, I do plan to put out a hunt guide, but only after this account completes all 3 of Wyvern, Banshee, and your Golem. And then probably separate guides for Asthmatic and for Katie's much later on. Same thing with expeditions. When we do our expedition teams, we will do guides on those also. So those will come as part of the supplemental guide series to this series here. Anyway, I'm Neptune. It's been a good one. Nep out.